What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Monday, August 18th, 2014, delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. A woman who says she witnessed the shooting of unarmed black teenager Michael Brown has released a video to CNN that showed Brown lying in the street as officers stood by. The shooting had spawned a week of protests in which demonstrators have demanded an explanation for Brown's killing. Police in Ferguson, Missouri say Officer Darren Wilson opened fire because Brown tried to take his gun during an altercation. Piaget Crenshaw says she has waited until now to release the video because she feared for her safety and was waiting for police to release Wilson's name, which they did on Friday. She also said police could have released her video Friday when they also released surveillance footage that showed Brown stealing cigarettes from a convenience store before the shooting. She said police had her video because they confiscated her phone. She shared her video with CNN's Newsday in the morning after police again fired tear gas and rubber bullets on demonstrators as well as children and reporters. The shootings and protests have raised questions about police targeting young black men, the risk of militarizing local police, and freedom of the press. Crenshaw said that she witnessed Wilson trying unsuccessfully to force Brown into a car. She said they tussled and Brown was able to get away because he was a bigger fella. Brown's escape seemed to have upset the officer who began chasing Brown, she said. She said she believed Brown was grazed by a shot near his arm, turned, and was then shot multiple times. A private autopsy conducted at the request of Brown's family and released Sunday indicated that he was shot 6 times, twice in the head. All of the shots were to his front, and one was at the top of his head, suggesting he was leaning forward when it hit. Crenshaw did not indicate she saw Brown try to take Wilson's gun. Brown's alleged attempt to take the weapon has been the Ferguson Police Department's main justification for the shooting. Crenshaw said it took her about 30 seconds to run and get her phone, which she used to film Wilson standing over Brown's body. She said she captured footage of Wilson pacing in disbelief at what he had done. Though police released the surveillance footage at the same time they released Wilson's name, they later conceded that Wilson was unaware when he stopped Brown that he was a robbery suspect. He and a friend were stopped for walking in the middle of the street, police say. Some celebrities have come out and expressed their opinions towards the situation in Ferguson, Missouri. For example, Keke Palmer, who became Broadway's first black Cinderella, joined protesters Saturday night in Ferguson, Missouri after the singer-actress and BET host came under fire on social media for comments she made earlier urging calm at demonstrations over the shooting death of Michael Brown. The day after the shooting, Palmer posted messages on Twitter urging unity and nonviolence. She wrote, "Why do we hate each other, harm each other, kill each other? We are brothers and sisters, y'all, all colors. Peace is the answer," the 21-year-old star tweeted. She followed it up with a tweet saying, "Martin Luther King had a dream and it came true. Those same dreams can grow if we stick together as one people." Palmer also posted a series of videos on her Instagram page asking her followers to embrace unity and compassion. While she meant well, some of her fans were not pleased and accused her for being naive or worse. One Twitter user replied, "You, my dear, are sounding so stupid right now." Another asked, "Who are you talking to? The cops?" In an interview with the Huffington Post, Palmer said, "As far as what's going on with Mike Brown, I spoke up on that because unproductive outrage has never gotten us anywhere," she continued. Even with Martin Luther King and everything that he did for black people, all he spoke about was unity. Because throwing hate and being angry and violence, that doesn't give us peace and equality. That's like having sex in order to get your virginity. It's just the complete opposite thing to do. In an essay Sunday on the New York Times magazine website, former NBA star Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said the violence and deadly conflict in Ferguson, Missouri is not just about systematic racism. It's about class warfare and how America's poor are held back. The Los Angeles Lakers legend wrote, "The fist shaking of everyone's racial agenda distracts America from the larger issues that the targets of police overreactions are based less on skin color and more on an even worse Ebola-level affliction, being poor. Of course, to many in America, being a person of color is synonymous with being poor. and being poor is synonymous with being a criminal. Ironically, the misperception is true even among the poor. He pointed to the disparity of the impact of the two 1970 tragedies. The first was the Kent State shootings, in which the Ohio National Guards opened fire on student protesters at Kent State University. 4 students were killed and 9 were wounded. The shock and outcry resulted in a nationwide strike of 4 million students that closed more than 450 campuses. 5 days after the shooting, 100,000 protesters gathered in Washington, D.C. 10 days later, at the predominantly black Jackson State University in Mississippi, police killed 2 black students, one a high school senior, the other the father of an 18-month-old baby, with shotguns, and wounded 12 others. There was no national outcry, and the nation was not mobilized to do anything. Abdul-Jabbar noted, "The heartless Leviathan we call history swallowed that event whole, erasing it from national memory. Unless we want the Ferguson atrocity to also be swallowed and become nothing more than an intestinal iront to history, we have to address this situation not just as another act of systematic racism, but as what else it is, class warfare," he wrote. Spike Lee posted to Instagram on Thursday 2 big banners featuring 18-year-old Michael Brown and Eric Gardner that are hanging in front of his film company's headquarters in Brooklyn. The Brown killing in particular has set off outrage, including 4 nights of tensions, protests, and police violence against the community in Ferguson, Missouri. And on Sunday night's episode of his show on HBO Last Week Tonight, John Oliver said the modern American police force is so bloated and outsized, it'd be funny if it was so dystopian and horrifying. Oliver spent much of his Sunday night show unpacking the shooting death of Michael Brown. The death sparked a week of protests, both violent and peaceful, and a forced response from town and county police who pointed semi-automatic guns at community members, broke up peaceful assemblies with tear gas, and arrested journalists on the scene. On Last Week Tonight, Oliver took a deep dive into both the politics of race and the understudied issue of police militarization, which has mushroomed in the last decade as the wars in the Middle East have come to a close. The national government spent billions of dollars on weapons, no surprise, and had to do something with all those death machines. So they have given many of them to local police forces. Oliver said small towns now have semi-automatic weapons and tanks and use them to harass minorities. And he also added, many say the police treatment harkens back to the days of Jim Crow, with tear gas replacing fire hose. Ferguson has just 4 black police officers in a town that is 63% black, but 90% of arrests and searches in the town are of African American. The footage Oliver showed, all from CNN and other cable news outlets, is downright scary. No joke at all. The children, family, and friends of broadcast legend Casey Kasem have not backed down in their ongoing struggle with his wife, widow, Gene Simmons. In a letter signed by 20 of his closest friends and family members, the country of Norway was formally asked to deny Gene's request to have her husband buried there. They wrote in the letter, "As beautiful as your country is, our father has never spoken of any desire to be buried in Norway, either to us or to his friends. In fact, it was the opposite. Casey wanted to be buried in his hometown of Los Angeles, California, his home of over 53 years. The letter goes on to allege that Gene Kasem fabricated her own Norwegian heritage with her nephew, Herbert Tommy Thompson, saying, "As far as we know, we are English, German, and Native American. We have never heard anyone speak of Norway, or Norwegian for that matter, in our house. We don't have an ounce of Norwegian blood to our knowledge." The letter further alleges the family's belief that Gene is attempting to have Casey Kasem buried in Norway because of the ongoing investigation from local authorities of criminal elder abuse. In a separate letter, Mike Kerr, former Lieutenant Governor of California and one of Casey Kasem's closest friends, stated that Casey Kasem wanted to be buried in California. According to a representative for Casey Kasem's daughter, Carrie Kasem, her father, quote, asked Mike Kerr in 2010 to be buried in Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Burbank because he foresaw something like this happening with Gene. Kerr wrote that he has offered to pay for Casey Kasem's burial at Forest Lawns Memorial Park in California or any other place the family feels is appropriate. Kerr's letter, along with the family's letter, was sent to Norwegian officials in response to Gene Kasem's request to have him buried there. Former Saturday Night Live cast member and comedy star Rob Schneider is blaming the pharmaceutical industry for Robin Williams' death. Following Friday's revelation that the comedy legend was suffering from the early stages of Parkinson's disease, Schneider took to Twitter to link Williams' suicide to the drugs that he was taking to treat the degenerative disorder. His first Twitter said, "Now that we can talk about it, Robin Williams was on a drug treating the symptoms of Parkinson's. One of the side effects is suicide." He also added the evil pharmaceutical industry admits to over 100,000 people in the U.S. die a year from prescription drugs. Robin Williams. Williams' wife Susan did not elaborate on how Parkinson's was affecting the Oscar-winning actor, only saying that he was not yet ready to share it publicly. Schneider labels those who publicly disagree with his connection between suicide and drugs prescribed to treating Parkinson's disease as big pharma trolls. He also added as Twitter, "Check out all the big pharma trolls climbing out from under the sludge. See how ugly they are." Williams was found dead in his Bay Area home last Monday. The coroner ruled that the cause of death was suicide by asphyxiation. And in a related story, Kiss bassist Gene Simmons is coming under fire for telling depressed people to kill themselves in an interview that was published online at the end of June. Simmons told Songfacts.com, "My mother was in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany. I don't want to hear fuck about all the world as a harsh place. She gets up every day, smells the roses, and loves life." And for a putz 20-year-old kid to say, "I'm depressed, I live in Seattle, fuck you, and then go fuck yourself. And then kill yourself." Australian Triple M radio network reacted on Friday by banning Kiss songs across the country and has challenged America to do the same. Mike Fitzpatrick, Triple M's head of content, said in a statement, "Triple M network can't and won't be playing or supporting this dickhead's music. I put the challenge out to other stations across Australia and North America to also drop any of this nudnik's songs until such time as he reconsiders his thoughtless and insensitive position." Motley Crue bassist and radio host Nikki Sixx caught wind of the interview early this week and scolded Simmons on the air and on Twitter. His first tweet, he wrote, "I struggle with addiction and depression but found recovery. Would you be happy if I killed myself instead? And also for my 4 kids wouldn't be born." He also added the other tweet, "I wonder if at Gene Simmons would still say how depressed people or addicts should kill themselves if it happened to his wife or kids." Simmons began talking about depression that can accompany drug and alcohol abuse when addressing his relationship status with the original Kiss members. "It's not healthy." Simmons says, "No, I do not get along with anybody who's a drug addict and has a dark cloud over their head and see themselves as a victim. Drug addicts and alcoholics are always. The world is a harsh place." While promoting his new AMC show Forth and Loud, a reality series chronicling the inaugural season of the LA Kiss Arena football team, Simmons took shots at former band members Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, both of whom have been open about their struggles with addiction. He asked himself, "Why would you dump your best friend who became a crackhead and a loser?" He asked himself on stage at the 2014 Television Critics Association Summer Press Tour. "We love and respect those guys for what they did at the outset of the band, and they succumbed to the cliches of cliches, which is drugs and alcohol. Are you kidding me? If you're going to pass the ball to your teammate and they can't see where the goal is, they've got to leave." The delayed outrage over Simmons' comments can most likely be attributed to Robin Williams' death, which put suicide, depression, and addiction at the forefront of the cultural mindset at the start of the week. Simmons further encouraged suicide during his controversial rant when he added, "I'm the guy who says jump when there's a guy on top of a building who says, 'That's it, I can't take it anymore, I'm going to jump.' Are you kidding? Why are you announcing it? Shut the fuck up, have some dignity, and jump. You've got the crowd." Rapper Kid Ink's dog viciously attacked a pizza delivery guy, and now the victim is suing for a piece of the pie. Garnick Nazarian claims Kid ordered a pizza to deliver to his Granada Hills home, and when he showed up at the front door, Kid's dog Louie attacked him, chomping down on his hands, arms, legs, face, and other body parts. Nazarian claims Kid should have known Louie was unusually dangerous and prone to attack and should have kept the animal locked up. According to the lawsuit, Nazarian's injuries are so bad he won't be able to deliver pizzas for a long time to come. So in addition to medical bills and pain and suffering, he wants lost profits. The lawsuit is a little wonky. In California and most states, a dog bite victim doesn't have to prove the pooch was usually dangerous or prone to attack. When dogs bite a person, owners pay, period. R&B singer R. Kelly has been hit with a new lawsuit. Jerome McDavid said he managed R. Kelly for decades and helped him navigate from a nobody to a superstar. Things started last year, and Kelly and McDavid parted companies. According to the lawsuit, they made a deal. Kelly would give McDavid $1.3 million, and they walked their separate ways. McDavid says Kelly made the initial $300,000 payment, but the deal called for an additional $40,000 a month payment for 18 months, and he hasn't received a cent. McDavid suing for the $1 million balance. Here's Kelly's big problem. TMZ told McDavid was deeply involved in Kelly's professional and personal life and knows everything about the various disputes he's had with women and others going back 20 years. Sources connected with the case say Kelly could be playing with fire by stiffing McDavid. TMZ reached out to R. Kelly, but didn't hear from him back. R&B singer Chris Brown says he's back with model girlfriend Karrueche Tran because she finally realized he did not have sex on a Saint-Tropez yacht. The on and off again couple is now on again, and Chris says it's because Karrueche now realizes he was telling the truth when he said he was not having sex with anyone else. Sources close to Karrueche told TMZ he was frantically texting and calling her more than 20 attempts a day to acquit himself, but she ignored him. TMZ told Saturday Karrueche showed up at Chris' celebrity flag football game to talk it out, which they did, and she believes him. As for the whole yacht thing, there definitely was smoke. He was on a vessel cavorting with several women, including one of Karrueche's close friends. Chris did cop to something. He promised Karrueche he would slow down the partying and treat her better. The LAPD has found out that Kylie Jenner lied about being rear-ended by a reckless driver Thursday because the other driver says she not only caused the crash but copped an attitude. As TMZ first reported, the 17-year-old model and member of the Kardashian family was driving her brand new Range Rover when, according to her, a woman swerved into her lane and rear-ended her. But the woman's lawyer says what really happened is that Kylie made an illegal U-turn with no warning and crashed into oncoming traffic. The accident was so bad, the lawyer Gary Delagian says his client's passenger ended up in the hospital. And the lawyer went on to say, claiming Kylie was aggressive and tried to strong-arm his client into settling up for cash and not calling any cops or insurance companies. His client told Kylie to pound sand. Brock Lesnar's appetite was still in full effect after his epic SummerSlam victory Sunday night, so he decided to wash down John Cena with a steak dinner. Lesnar hit up Morton's in downtown Los Angeles with Paul Heyman after becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He brought his championship belt with him to dinner, and they still have Cena's name on them. But Lesnar didn't let his performance rest on its laurels. He was still talking serious smack about Cena even after the match. He also dropped hints about the future of dual belts. It was announced that Brock Lesnar signed a new deal with WWE. 2020 co-actor Elizabeth Vargas has suffered a setback in her struggle with sobriety. The 51-year-old newswoman left a vacation in California over the weekend to return to rehab to treat her alcoholism. The 2020 co-actor said in a statement released by ABC, as so many of other recovering alcoholics know, overcoming the disease can be a long and incredibly difficult process. I feel I've let myself, my coworkers, and most importantly my family down, and for that I am ashamed and sorry. I am committed to battling and addressing this debilitating disease and want to thank everyone who has offered this unwavering support during this trying time. ABC is standing behind Vargas, saying in the statement, nothing is more important than Elizabeth's health and well-being, and we stand squarely behind her. Our thoughts are with Elizabeth and her family, and we look forward to having her back at ABC News when she feels ready to return. Vargas first entered rehab last November at the urging of her husband, singer-songwriter Mark Cohen, with whom she has 2 young sons. While she is an alcoholic, she sought treatment in a facility specializing in trauma because she suffered from anxiety and panic attacks since childhood and later started drinking to ease it. Her first attempt at rehab wasn't without its difficulties. After staying for 28 days, she left against doctors' advice and returned home. 5 days later, she returned and stayed until doctors gave her a green light. Pop star Justin Timberlake found himself the target of widespread Twitter outrage this weekend when he allegedly sent Madonna a birthday tweet calling her his mother-chucking ninja. Following quickly pounced on him for his use of the phrase, which is sometimes understood as an alternative way of saying motherfucking ninja. The tweet, which has since been deleted, reportedly read, "A happiest of B-days to my mother-chucking ninja, at Madonna. Hope you have a great one, M." Users took him to task immediately after it was just posted, responding with tweets like, "I just ended my relationship with Justin," or "Get Justin Timberlake the fuck out of here." As Grantland pointed out in 2012, ninja has been used in the past by other stars too. Katy Perry, for example, substituted when she covered Kanye West's "Iggy in Paris" during a Radio 1 performance that year. No doubt because of the outrage, Timberlake deleted his birthday message to his 4-minute duet partner Madonna, who turned 56 on Saturday, August 16. One day later, he retweeted a message from Matt Morris about the events in Ferguson. "The world is watching, #Ferguson, and we pray." Celebrities are stepping up to take the Ice Bucket Challenge. All across the internet, the famous are taking a dose in the name of raising money and bringing awareness to Lou Gehrig's disease, also called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. The participants include such figures as Iggy Azalea, Lady Gaga, and Chris Pratt. Some, like Justin Bieber, have taken the challenge more than once. Bieber said in a video posted on his Instagram account, "Alright, second Ice Bucket Challenge. Today I nominate my believers all over the world. I know you guys got an ice bucket." So far, the Ice Bucket Challenge has poured in $15 million. Guardians of the Galaxy star Pratt attempted a different twist by drinking blue ice vodka and Smirnoff Ice instead of dumping an ice bucket on himself. But he didn't get away with his scam as a pair of friends proceeded to pour cold water over him multiple times from a balcony. "Really?" Pratt sputtered. "That's so cold." Pop star Lady Gaga was one of the latest celebrities to post her video on her Instagram account. The singer was silent as she sat in a chair dressed in what appeared to be a studded bathing suit and poured ice water over herself from a massive silver bowl. Scandal star Kerry Washington accepted 2 bucket challenges, one as a stand-in for the cast and one for herself, and she wasn't the only celebrity from a Shonda Rhimes show to get on board. The cast of Grey's Anatomy also participated. Once the stars have completed the challenge, they have in turn challenged fellow celebrities to take the plunge themselves. Other celebrities participating included Oprah Winfrey, the cast of The Boys, Jennifer Lopez, Robert Downey Jr., Nina Dobrev, and James Vanderbeek. And finally, the Expendable 3 shot blanks in a $5.8 million first day at the box office Friday, and Sylvester Stallone's Aging Tough Guys are going to come in with a disappointing $15 million for the weekend. They were running third behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was on its way to a $26 million repeat win after nearly $8 million Friday, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Fox's R-rated comedy Let's Be Cops, which took in $5.6 million Friday, was just behind and is looking at 3-day totals of around $17 million. Disney and Marvel's space romp Guardians brought in nearly $7 million Friday and is headed for about $23 million over the weekend. It passed the $200 million mark in the process, and it's on its way to becoming the summer's highest-grossing film domestically. The weekend's third wide opener, The Weinstein Company, The Giver, brought in $4.7 million, is looking at $13 million for the weekend, a little under expectations. With the exception of Guardians, just about all the leaders and openers came in under expectations. Ninja Turtles dropped a steep 69% despite adding 135 locations for a market-high 3,980 theaters, and it looks like the recent rebound of the overall box office will stall. The weekend is running a few percentage points behind last year's comparable frame when Lee Daniels' The Butler was the top film with $24.6 million. When it comes to the disappointing Expendables 3 opening, it's hard to tell where the effects of a pirated copy leaked online 2 weeks ago ends and franchise fatigue begins. In any case, its first weekend will be under the first 2 Expendable movies, which opened to $34.8 million in 2010 and $28.6 million in 2012. The first 2 were R-rated, while this one is PG-13. Two movies in their second week, Into the Storm and The 100-Foot Journey, were 6th and 7th and will wind up with around $7 million for the 3 days. That will put Warner Brothers' disaster thriller at $30 million and DreamWorks' Helen Mirren Foodle Tale $23 million. The Scarlett Johansson sci-fi tale Lucy, the dance film Step Up All In, and Boyhood rounded out the top 10. Lucy is up to $107 million in its 4th week for Universal. And that is your entertainment report for Monday, August 18th, 2014. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RYMELO, or on Twitter @The Enter Report. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.